Hi there. I'd like to do a quick tabletop review of the Better Homes and Gardens Retro Tabletop fan. This is the cream colored 8-inch version of this fan. If you're looking for it, it comes in a box just like this. And if you notice down at the bottom right, it says easy assembly, no tools required. I think that's a great understatement because there's actually no assembly required. You literally just pull it out of the box, take the packaging off, plug it in, start using it. I was at my local Walmart this evening and I came across this in the fan aisle, and I had to pick it up as soon as I saw it because I've noticed something about this fan that's a rarity today when it comes to home use fans. Um, there's a little disclaimer here. I work for the product safety industry, and so when I'm out shopping for products for myself, I'm always checking to make sure that products have good safety certification marks on them, particularly electrical appliances. And in the fan industry, there's one particular supplier, I won't name them, but product safety supplier that's not really that highly regarded in the safety industry. Doesn't mean that products are necessarily unsafe, but they just don't have the best track record and history. And anyways, this particular fan though has something I haven't seen in probably years, and that is it's a brand new UL listed fan. UL is a company that I do generally trust for my product safety on my products, and so that was a big selling point to me, and pretty much instantly I decided I was going to buy this fan. I actually wasn't in the market for this style of fan, the retro styled desk fan, but I haven't bought a fan in a while, and I kind of wanted one. It's summertime, and when I saw this, I decided, you know what? Finally found a UL listed fan. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up. So I want to quickly go through some of the things about this fan that I like, and then a few things that I don't like, so that maybe if you're curious about, thinking about picking one of these up or something like it, you get a sense of at least what I think of it. So pros, first off, I mentioned was that it is UL listed. I did go and look up online on the UL database to confirm that yes, the manufacturer and model do apparently match, so it doesn't look like it's a counterfeit certification. Second thing I really like about this fan is it's mostly metal. I wouldn't say it was all metal, but it's definitely mostly metal in that retro styling. So obviously the grill here is metal, the base here is metal, the back cap here is metal, the lever arm here. This little plug right here is plastic, and there's some other plastic knobs throughout the fan. But overall, it does have mostly metal construction, probably aluminum in parts, but aluminum is a metal. Another thing I like about this fan, and again, I wasn't really looking for a retro styled fan. I would have been happy with just plain old, standard fan, but this does have a very stylish look to it. It is obviously a retro fan, but it's going to be stylish but modern, which means that the old school 50s fans, they usually had big gaps in the grates where you could stick your finger in. This has a modern grill, so you can use it without worrying that somebody's going to get their fingers chopped off in this thing. And it just really looks kind of cool, kind of neat. And I like the white because it's, it can kind of blend in with, everything around. They sell this in other colors, more 50 style colors in red and teal blue, or, this just, I like the cream. It's nice and subtle, but at the same time very stylish. It's a very quiet fan. I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and plug it in real quick. Get a sense for how noisy this thing is. So plug it in. Let's go to the first setting. And then we'll go to the second setting for speed. And then the third speed is loudest, obviously. So not bad, not bad as far as sound's concerned. Um, Another thing I like about this fan is it's affordable. This fan was just under $25 at my local Walmart. Um, I've seen, stylish, decorator style fans that cost a lot more money. Obviously, I've seen cheaper fans that are just plain old little plastic ones, but for what this is, $25 is, I think, a really good price. Um, One other thing I like about this is it does have a fuse in the plug here, so if it's a replaceable fuse, I can't get my finger in there right now. Well, take my word for it. You can get a little screwdriver in there, pull that back. There's a little replaceable fuse in there. So if something happens, power surge, and pops a fuse in there, might be able to replace the fuse, keep your fan running. No guarantee on that usually when something shorts out in an appliance causing the fuse to go. Even if you replace the fuse, that doesn't necessarily mean that what happened has been repaired. So if you end up replacing a fuse more than once, you're either going to have to give this to a repair person or it's time to toss it out. Um, I will say I made a big deal about the safety certification on this fan. I want to make it clear that that doesn't necessarily guarantee that your fan is going to be long lasting or last longer than any other fan. That just simply means that the fan has passed all the product safety requirements that are published for these types of products. So, but this is a brand new fan. I haven't had a chance to use it much, but so far, just out of the box, I really like it. So let me go through a few things that maybe I don't like so much about this fan. One thing about this fan, although I don't think it's necessarily unique to this fan as far as tabletop fans or desktop fans are concerned, but I noticed that it doesn't have a great deal of tilt to it. It does have a little bit of tilt, so you can loosen this and tilt it down or tilt it just a little bit up, but you couldn't place this on the floor and then tilt it up at yourself, cool yourself that way. And given the amount of air this thing pushes out, I really wouldn't use it for that anyways. But as I mentioned, there's just not a whole lot of up and down tilt on this. It does have good side-to-side rotation on when it's oscillating. And I like the fact too that when you disengage the oscillation, you can still set the fan with the knob however you want it. Another thing that I've noticed is it's a very quiet fan. It's not moving a whole lot of air. I think that's partly due to the fact it's got these retro style blades on it, metal blades, and they look nice. They don't have a whole lot of curvature to them, and I think that's partly why it doesn't move a ton of air. I mean, in the third setting, yeah, it can blow pretty good. And I think the intent on this is to have it on your desktop, have it on a table near you. So it really doesn't need to blow a ton of air. I wouldn't use this to try and cool a room or anything like that. But for a very small area, it's really not a big problem. But just to, full disclosure, it doesn't move a ton of air. And in the third setting, it moves a decent amount of air. But again, it's really having to spin fast to get the air it is moving. One thing that kind of detracts from I think the aesthetic on this is it's got this big red warning label on here. Now, I spoke ad nauseum about safety certifications, and it may very well be that that label needs to be there in order for it to comply with the safety standards. But I would be surprised if it necessarily had to be red. I would think that just as long as it was contrasting, it would probably be fine. But regardless, for such an attractive looking fan to have a huge red label on it, I think people are likely to maybe pull that off rather than just leave it there. And the last thing that's kind of I find I don't know if I wouldn't call it a con necessarily, but this fan isn't really branded with anything. It comes, as I mentioned, as a Better Homes and Garden brand product, but nowhere on this fan is there anything that says Better Homes and Garden. On the label on the bottom, it just says that it's a manufactured by Yang Key Electric Appliances, and again, no reference to Better Homes and Gardens. I especially note this cap here. It's like it's built for there to be a logo in here, and yet it has absolutely nothing in there. Um, it's not that I necessarily wanted to have a fan be branded. It's just, you're buying a brand and it has no branding once you get it out of the box. I'm actually thinking it might be cool to come up with some sort of a Fallout game brand and stick it on there. My wife has been playing that game a lot lately, and you go around picking up junk and you see old school fans like this all over the place, and I thought that would be pretty nifty to put some sort of a, I don't know, I can't think of a brand offhand, but I'll ask her what would be something good to put on there. But it's just a plain white desk fan, and well, it's not plain, it's retro style, but I like the fact that it's, not gaudy. It's definitely classy, and it's does what it's supposed to do, and backed up by a safety mark that I put a lot of stock in. So hopefully this tabletop review has been helpful to you, and if you go out there and looking for this fan, at least have an idea of what you might expect when you get it. So thanks for watching.